It's not something welcome to Shropshire Engine Services based here in the UK. Big thank you to all you guys who subscribe to this channel. Today I want to talk to you about fault code P2002, diesel particulate filter. Yes, DPF for short. As a mechanic, trust me, that particular filter has caused us an endless amount of grief over the years, and the reason for that is our Snap-on diagnostics machine are about 2 years behind the main agents, and it's a big bugbear. So us as mechanics sometimes have to learn how to do stuff without having the diagnostic equipment, and it's having an understanding on how symptoms work. Now, a diesel particulate filter is this bad boy here, and that sits after your catalytic converter on your exhaust. And what this particular bad boy does is it reduces your carbon emissions. And now, how does it do that? It does that by turning carbon into ash, and it stores that ash within that filter to a point that it gets that full the vehicle cannot breathe. So you lose absolutely all power. You'll put your foot on the gas, on the accelerator, and you'll just get no revs whatsoever. And 9 times out of 10, your DPF light comes on the dash. If that comes on and you've still got plenty of power, trust me, don't ignore it. You need to deal with it straight away. Now, how to deal with a faulty DPF is you can do that in one of 3 ways. The first way is how I learned how to do it manually, and you can do this yourself. Now, automatics, what you need to do basically is you need to get on yourself on the motorway and get your foot flat to the floor, and basically you'll probably be doing maybe 30 mile an hour at 2,000 RPM. And what you'll notice, if you keep your foot flat to the floor, don't take it off whatsoever, eventually the revs will go up and keep going up and going up until you get to about 4,000 RPM, and then all of a sudden the engine will change gear. Now what I want you to do is keep your foot back to the floor, and what you'll notice is the vehicle will go back to 30 miles an hour. Then, keeping your foot flat to the floor, you'll keep driving to a point that it'll go up through the revs, and then it'll change gear again. But this time you'll be doing about 60 mile an hour, and then it'll drop down to 30, and then you've got wagons flying past you. So trust me, when you need the gum shield to do it manually. Now, keep doing that until it's gone through every gear, and I've done it at 90 mile an hour, and all of a sudden the DPF light goes out, and there you go, problem solved, DPF regen done, and you should be okay for a while. But because it's there to do a job, it will get full again. So basically, to cut a long story short, the second way to do it is with a diagnostic machine. Now, your cheap little £100 OBD readers will not help you do a DPF regen. You've actually got to go into special functions and do what's called DPF regeneration. And that will run the engine up at 1500 RPM, over fueling to clean out the DPF. And it does that for about 75 minutes. And it's imperative that after you've done that, you change the oil in the oil filter. And the other way to get around it is DPF replacement. When the DPFs get too full, you've actually got to replace the DPF with new. Now, when you replace it with new, you need a scan tool. The scan tool, because you've got to be able to tell the ECU that the DPF has been replaced and it's no longer full, and the ECU will accept that and clear the code. Now, what you'll probably find in some incidences is there's a reason why the DPF's gone faulty, and I had one in recently. It was due to faulty injectors. The faulty injectors were over-fueling, and basically there was producing lots of black carbon, and the black carbon blocked the DPF filter out. And so after I'd done the DPF regeneration, the customer drove the car 5 miles and the light came back on, and that was because of faulty injectors. So if it's over-fueling, it will affect and burn out the temperature sensors within the DPF. There is another thing. This DPF has been through an ultrasonic sound cleaner, so you don't always have to replace it with new. If you know somebody who's got an ultrasonic sound cleaner, that'll be absolutely perfect for you. Now, with manual cars with a DPF filter, what I strongly advise you to do is get on the motorway, get your car into third gear and just keep your foot on the flat on the floor. And you should do that at least once a month, about 4,500 RPM, you know, go a couple of miles. That's forcing the ash out of the DPF filter. So that's the top tip for you, that. If you've got a manual, once in a blue moon, once a month, give it a good hard flooring in third gear for a mile or two, and that will help you clean out and keep your system clear. Well, that's all I can share in this top tip for today. Have a cracking weekend. We'll see you next week. Thanks for coming. Find us on Facebook. Give us a like.